Hey everyone, it's Friday, March 18th. Let's talk PlayStation. Alright, I'm hoping this week the audio sounds a little bit louder. I'm doing the best I can to figure out this current setup. The audio should be sounding a little bit louder this time. Again, bear with me, we'll try and figure this thing out together. Anyway, we still have a busy news week. A lot of stuff going on if you have not kept up with that. So let's start off with the boring stuff first. The most notably boring thing is that PlayStation Vue, Sony's TV streaming service on PlayStation 4, is expanding all across the US very, very soon. It's going nationwide, and they're offering some new tiered services, some new tiered plans with it that are actually pretty affordable and actually pretty competitive. So you can start, obviously it was only available in select cities. Now it's going nationwide. Their lowest plan right now is for $30, and that's going to include 55 channels, including sports channels. For an extra $5, you're getting access to more channels basically. And then for $45, it's for 35. At 35, it goes international, so you're getting some international channels. And then at $45 a month, you're also getting movie and entertainment channels as well. So pretty fair deal actually. Like that's actually somewhat competitive with some reasonable with rates, at least in my neighborhood, in my area, and the other service providers. So depending on where you live, this might actually be somewhat attractive for you. Next up, do you remember a little game called Rime? Sony announced it as a PlayStation 4 exclusive at Gamescom 2013. We haven't really seen this game in a long time. Well, it turns out the developer Tequila Works has actually reacquired the rights from Sony. So we all knew that back then the game was announced as a PS4 exclusive because Sony was going to be publishing this game. Sony is no longer publishing the game. They gave the rights back to Tequila Works. We don't really know what happened. Basically, there's one little rumor, flying around that the game's taking forever to make, and they, Sony asked for their development kits back, and they weren't giving them back. No progress was being made on the game. False promises, things like that. We don't really know for sure if that was the case, but we don't often see things like this happen, especially since Sony loves funding, smaller developers, and even more so Sony loves funding games that are more artistically approached, games that might not be the most financially successful games, but they're like a little bit different, and that's kind of what Rime was. And so that's now going to be, now the ownership of the IP is now back in the developer's hands, so who knows where we'll see this game in the next few months or possibly years. I don't know. Now let's do our big news story, which is that Sony just recently had their PlayStation VR event for GDC, and now we know a hell of a lot more about this thing than we did before. Alright, so some key bullet points. Price. PlayStation VR is going to cost $400 in the US, 400 euros, 350 British pounds sterling, and then 549 Australian. So there's the price, right? Everything in the box. You're going to get the headset, you're going to get the proper cables, you're going to get headphones, you're going to get the post-processing unit that is required for the device. No camera. The PlayStation VR does not come with a camera at that price point, and it is confirmed that you absolutely do need the camera, which is something we kind of already knew, but they're just saying it again. You do need a PlayStation 4 camera to actually use and operate this thing. You're also going to get a free download for the Playroom VR, which is going to give you like 6 little mini games to play some VR games. But there's that. Sony also confirmed that it's going to be having a release window of October, so no specific date, but they are saying October, which is actually falling short of their initial window of the first half of 2016, so they're not going to hit that, but they are saying October. 50 games for the first year of PlayStation VR, so that's not saying 50 games at launch, but at least by the end of 2016, 50 games that are going to be playable, and also there's over 200 developers. I believe they said 250 developers are currently working on PlayStation VR projects right now or on board to start beginning to work on projects. One big notable one is that Sony has a deal where they're going to be doing a new exclusive Star Wars Battlefront game. There's like no details on that basically, but that's going to be a PlayStation VR game that they're kind of detailed about as well. But overall, that's kind of what we're looking at right now. So a couple of other key things to keep in mind. At $400, you're not getting a camera, which is required for PlayStation VR. You're also not, of course, getting a PlayStation Move controller. There is going to be a separate little side bundle, starter bundle, that would include the camera, PS Move. There's also going to be a all-in-one bundle where you're going to get the camera, the headset, and PlayStation Move controller. There's no price for that. I guess understandably so, because it's not going to be $400. It's going to be even more. The post-processing unit. Another thing that Sony that Sony wants to keep mentioning is that this post-processing unit that comes with it and that is required for PlayStation VR, it is not extra horsepower. It's not extra GPU or CPU power or anything like that. The biggest responsibility for the post-processing box is basically projecting the image back onto the TV for social play. Sony wanted to make that pretty clear. So, that's kind of the requirement there. So that's about all we really need to know for now, especially since it's further out than we initially thought. So we still got a few months until the thing's in our hands. But yeah, I mean, it is priced competitively. Yes, it's certainly coming in at a lower price of the Oculus, HTC Vive. I mean, any other high-end virtual reality headset you want to mention. It's obviously the most affordable, but at the same time, it's asking a lot for consumers that have PlayStation 4s and are, in no way, shape, or form even in a position to buy those other higher-end virtual reality headsets, because, at $400, you're coming in at basically the same price as the launch PS4, even more so than a PS4, because you also need the camera, assuming you possibly don't have a camera already. Sony also mentioned, why there's not going to be a camera in every single box, and they're saying, well, we already sold a lot of cameras, so a lot of people might already have the camera. Makes a lot of sense. I mean, I think it's also kind of a fair way to look at it, considering a lot of enthusiasts, like a lot of people that are really into PlayStation, they probably do already have the camera. So those kind of people that are initially going to buy PlayStation VR would probably already do have the camera. And they will have that extra bundle to satisfy the people that don't have anything basically, and they'll have a whole little bundle to get you started and whatnot. But it's still a pretty high price tag. I think my guess in the predictions video at the start of the year was like $300. I thought that would be a pretty good sweet spot. I was like $350 at the most. So coming in at $400 is a little bit higher than I thought and what most people thought. But at the same time, a lot of people were thinking this was going to be like upwards to $600 like the Oculus, and it's like, dude, no way. They can't even. There's no chance they can do that. Actually, Sony's Adam Boyes actually commented saying that they have to make a profit on the unit. And he kind of quoted it in a way of saying, oh, this and that, business, and, we got to make a profit on it. So he's kind of implying that they are going to be selling this thing at a profit. I can also see why Sony wants to get a profit off it, too, because how much R&D went into actually doing this thing. And it's the same thing, not only I'm preaching, but everybody in the games industry is preaching, and Sony's preaching this, they want VR to work. Everybody's in this together. It's not a competition. Sony's, talking to Oculus. Oculus is talking to Sony. Oculus is talking to everybody else. It's all one big push to make this thing actually work. And even more so, and I sent a tweet about this, and I think it resonated with a lot of people, which is when you have something that is this kind of a big of an industry push, you got this many people trying to make it work, and you see this many developers supporting it too. That's the big key thing here, right? You see all these peripherals left and right from hardware manufacturers, Kinect, the Wiimote, which was an entire platform basically from launch. So it's that wasn't even just some sort of offset push. That was an entire platform based on that input method. All the PlayStation cameras over the years, PlayStation Move, those things all hinge on the software. When you've got this many developers and this many hardware manufacturers trying to make this work, this makes it more compelling and more exciting than anything else we've ever really seen in the industry. If you can't get excited about this, I don't know what would. So yeah, let's bring it on. Virtual reality. Those are just some of the news stories I want to talk about with you guys this week. The Rime Gaming topic. We did not have one. If you didn't notice, a video game teacher episode went up. That one was PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, so I showed Brandon PS All-Stars. That one was also very funny. More so for me, I guess, that's all those videos really are, is to make me laugh. Not even at this point, not even to make you guys laugh or for you to enjoy it. I record them because they make me laugh. But I was playing that with him. I was just harassing the shit out of him, seeing if he could get all the references in PS All-Stars, and he didn't fucking get any of them. That video was funny. I had to upload that though because I ran out of Rime Gaming topics. There's one last episode actually in the old room that I just haven't finished editing. It's kind of a bigger episode, so I wanted to really add some good B-roll to it and stuff, but I'm still editing that one. But that one wasn't ready, and that was the only one I had left kind of pre-recorded, so I got to do some new topics finally. I'll start recording some new topics in this room. I just wasn't ready. Just classic case of not being ready on time. But I had some, like I said, I have a few backup videos, and that video game teacher was one of them. And then You might have noticed we did the new Let's Play. The new Let's Play is God of War on PlayStation Now. So the Twitter poll was finished. God of War 1. Again, for the people asking why I'm playing it on PlayStation Now, I thought it'd be a fun experiment to completely do a game on PlayStation Now, and that's been pretty interesting to say the least. But that's going well. So hey, check out the new Let's Play too if you want to talk and have a conversation. That's what those videos are always about. It's just me kind of talking about stuff. So if you want to talk about stuff, then join me in those videos. That concludes this week's episode of Let's Talk PlayStation. I'm Rime IP. Thank you all so much for talking with me, and I'll see you guys next Friday. Oh, and before I go, this coming Wednesday probably won't be a Ryan on Gaming topic either, because I have another video I wanted to upload that was like kind of special, and you know, sometimes usually if I have an extra video to throw up on the channel, I'll just substitute a Ryan on Gaming. So then I'll just do that for next week. So the week after that will be some, we'll start up the Ryan on Gaming again. Anyway, that's it. See you guys.